How's it guys, Munash here, and today we have another interesting Alliance War showcase, and I do have a couple of fights for this one, but it's gonna be primarily focused on Archangel against Nick Fury. So I fought two Nick Furies in this war because I guess they just didn't care much about diversity since it is off season, so it's a good time to experiment with placements. But first I gotta take care of an America Chavez who I've never actually fought in Alliance War before. In fact, I think I've only fought her in Cavalier difficulty, and maybe I fought one in Act 7 Chapter 3. So I wasn't actually sure how to approach this fight at first, but I did get some advice. The main one being just try to prevent her from throwing heavy attacks. So of course she just has to start the fight by throwing a heavy attack, like that is just so convenient. Like I was actually wondering, does she have a heavy attack bias like Mysterio or Doom whenever he has a shock on you? Because she threw it before I even went for the parry, or at least at the same time. But anyway, I think the main thing is to make sure you don't punish it at the wrong time, otherwise you'll get that reflection damage charge. And I also just couldn't find a dual target. Well, I didn't really look too hard beyond using Joanna, but then I was like, whatever, you know, who really cares about this war? And yeah, I just wasn't really familiar with the animation, so I ended up getting hit by a heavy attack, thinking it's a special one. And it is ebb and flow knockdown, but I'm not knocking her down, otherwise she'll become debuff immune. So rather just keep the protection on so you can keep on applying parry stuns and incinerates. So besides getting hit by that one heavy attack, not a bad fight at all. And now we're gonna move on to a very, I guess, cheesy fight. The first Nick Fury fight. Probably the fastest fight against Nick Fury I've ever had in Alliance War. So first of all, I had God-like RNG, almost as if my Archangel was a horseman. And there's the Fury you get from the ebb and flow knockdown node, so he started melting pretty quickly. But the most interesting part of this fight was when he lost his decoy. In fact, I'm not even sure if he really lost it, because it's almost like it came back and replaced the real Nick Fury. So check this out, protection comes back, parry heavy, decoy destroyed, but was that a stun debuff? Yep, and I even got a neurotoxin to shut down his healing at about 30%. And he's still not stun immune, plus he has no fury buff, so this is clearly not the real Nick Fury. This is some kind of imposter, but if you actually look closely to when the decoy was destroyed, it seemed like the stun debuff was placed at the exact same time, which might have bypassed the benefits he gets from the second life. I'm not entirely sure, it's most likely a bug, but pretty interesting if you ask me. And this is not even the first time I've done this. I've also had the same interaction using Magneto against a power snack Nick Fury. But yeah, that was the most dominant fight against the Nick Fury I've had in Alliance War. I mean, to even shut down his second life, that should be considered illegal, like that's borderline cheating, but I assure you I am not using any mods whatsoever. So Jabari was also another quick and easy fight for Archangel, mainly because I had the Wags pre-fight for the passive stun, which she can't purify. And she had suicide, so my first heavy applied some neurotoxins. So now we're gonna move on to the second Nick Fury, and this one is a lot tankier than the previous one. This was the second rank 4 6-star I've ever fought in Alliance War. The first one was a power snack Doom last season, and I used Doom for that fight. And now we have a rank 4 Nick Fury with Mixmaster, Aggression Prowess, and Power Focus 1. And the funny thing is, Fury and Doom are the two champs I'm considering for my first rank 4. Fury is still my favorite 6-star in the game, just absolutely love the champ, I do so much with him on a daily basis. He was my very first rank 3, so it would be fitting for him to be the first rank 4 as well. And he will be if I were to follow my heart, as corny as that may sound. But I'm more inclined to go with my mind, and it's telling me that Doom is the better choice just based on his overall usefulness. I mean, he is just so dominant in pretty much every aspect of the game, even prestige. And mine is SIG 200, so it just makes more sense for me. But anyway, back to the Nick Fury fight, and this is where the title of the video comes in. But first I gotta get hit by a heavy attack, which seemed to have come from out of nowhere. Bit of a sneaky one there, because he took just one step forward, which allowed him to reach me with a heavy attack. So the reason why this fight for me was easier than a rank 3 Nick Fury is because, you know, him having more health just means you have more time to get to your special 3 before you drop his decoy. And sure, you can use power start boosts and ult your combo so you don't do too much damage to get there, but against this rank 4 I didn't even need to think about it. Unfortunately, getting hit by the heavy attack messed up my special 3 timing, but I still managed to heal block most of his regen, so that second phase was not too bad to deal with. So again, besides getting hit by that one heavy attack, pretty comfortable with Archangel. So now we're gonna move on to the first high ground fight, which is gonna be on Path 6, Section 2. Ebony more with Rage and Enhanced Fury. So I dropped the Suicides now because Torch's crits will do way too much damage for this Rage node. But I still triggered it a few times with these medium crits, but fortunately he had Suicides first of all. And of course I'm using the pre-fight because you don't want to have Incinerates against a high ground defender. Unless you don't mind doing the fight without blocking, then maybe you'd be fine. But this was my last Torch fight, so it made sense to use the pre-fight here. And if I didn't, he might have actually gone unblockable with the Rage Furies. Alright, so now we have one more fight in this war, still in Section 2, which is gonna be a Mangog with Aggression, Prowess, and Power Focus 2. So I'm using Doom for this fight since he is my best option for it. He's actually my preferred Mangog counter, so I've even taken bosses with him. But for this fight, main thing you need is some good power control so you don't have to deal with that annoying special 2, which is impossible to fully dex. It also helps having some buff control to deal with these enrage phase, so you don't have to deal with the unblockable and unstoppable. But I suppose it can be done without, you can sort of play around it. As long as you're not using a champ who relies on Cold Snap, Shock or Incinerate, because he does get that energy protection buff which makes him immune to all those things. So because he has Power Focus 2, I just use Special 1s and Special 2s. No need for Special 3 since you can't get that perfect power steal, so you can't really do a proper Doom cycle. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. No boss island action for me this war because it's off season, so give me a break. But seriously though, I hope you guys found this interesting, and as always, thank you for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.